Hello, I'm going to show you now how to use a function called Iferror. Now, Iferror is a really simple but clever function which allows you to hide any kind of formula error within a spreadsheet and sort of change its presentation so that rather than having a not so nice error be visible, what you will get is you will actually have whatever you want to display instead. So if we take this file that I'm currently within, I've got two cells here that said div0. Now, just to give you the background of this, can you see my formula is the total cost, in this case 25, divided by the unit price, in this case 5, and that's telling me how many of those apples I can afford to buy. Now, the reason why in this case I'm getting a div0 error and this case I'm getting a div0 error is because I'm trying to divide by a 0 or I'm trying to divide by a blank, which to Excel is the same as saying 0. Now, you can't divide by 0, so in effect Excel is just saying, computer says no, can't do that, so hence the error. Now, the problem with this is if you then try and do another formula based on this list, which maybe you want to get a total of how many items you can buy, can you see that total will also give you the the div0 error in there. Now, what it'd be nice is if we could just get rid of that error and only total up the things that we can get an answer for, but maybe give the user an indication of to why the problem is, because not everyone understands, in this case, the div0 error. Now, again, we're using Iferror in the context of a div0 error, but this is any error. So it could be VLOOKUP giving you an NA. It could be other formulas giving you a different error that you just want to kind of hide. Now, how this works, you're going to go into the formula itself that you want to edit, go to the left of the formula or function that you want to apply the if error to, and just start typing if error. Now, if it comes up in the list, highlight it by using your arrow and press tab on your keyboard. Can you see that will fill it in? Now, there are two things we've got to tell if error. Now, first of all is the value. Now, the value is the formula or function which is either giving us an answer or giving us the error, or if you want to put it a different way, the JIP. So after that, I'm going to click to the right of it and I'm going to put a comma in. Can you see it now goes in the post-it note to value if error? So the first thing is the value, and then to tell it you want to put the next thing in, we're going to say comma, and then it jumps to value if error. Now, if I want to put 0 in instead of a div0 error, I would just type 0, close the bracket, and then press enter. Following that, I must make sure that I drag this down. Can you see instead of div0, it displays a 0? You'll notice as well, can you see it is now totaling all of the pieces of information where it can get an answer. Now, what I would suggest in this case is 0 is fine, but does 0 mean you can't afford any, or does 0 mean there's a problem? So look, I'm going to just get rid of that. Instead of putting a 0, if I open my speech marks, I could type in here missing info. And notice, can you say I open a speech mark, type what I want to appear, and close a speech mark? So if I now press enter on my keyboard, click back here, then drag it down, can you see anywhere previously it had a div0 error, it now says missing info. So it's a little bit easier for the user to see. Now, because it's not an error and it's actually text, Excel can still total up the pieces of information where it can find an answer, but you are still presented with the fact there is a problem. So it's a little bit more graceful in letting you know there's an issue with your formula. So that is a bit about how to use Iferror to enable you to kind of make formula errors a little bit more presentable and make your spreadsheet look a little bit nicer.